Scrappy, Lucas Da Silva. How are things? It's State Week.
Can we just agree that this is the most exciting week of the high school season and just get it out of the way? This is the most exciting week of the year.
It is. I mean, I still go back to state duels being super excited as well. And
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out which of the two, but I'm right there with you. This is what, everybody's worked extremely hard for a long time. And there's just a few matches in front of you. Get a few wins. Next thing you know, you're standing on top of the podium. That's pretty cool. You've done it. I've never done it.
Done it a trio of times, and I will say it now. I'm gonna say it probably a couple times throughout this intro and throughout all these videos. There's not feeling like it in high school wrestling. There really isn't. Like getting to stand on top of the podium in the, let's be nice and say, lovely Macon Coliseum. I'll get into my gripes with it eventually throughout these videos, but standing on top of the Macon Coliseum, looking at your parents taking pictures of you, your coaches and everybody. And it's a moment to really appreciate the work you've put in throughout the season and throughout your entire career to get to that point. Each classification, they have about 50, 60, 70 teams depending. So you got to think of it like this. We started with however many kids in your classification, and in your weight class, down to 12. I'm thinking,
right.
Whichever way it makes sense to the viewers. You guys get what I'm saying? We're down to 12. It's only you and 11 other guys, or girls, fighting for that top spot on the podium, fighting for some jewelry. And I was blessed to do it a couple of times. I'm excited to see. I think the biggest thing about state for me is the storylines, is the kids that, he's a senior and he's a two-time blood rounder and he's got one last run to make the podium, or a guy that maybe he's been a finalist the year before and now he's looking to slay old demons. You get the freshmen who are lighting up the world that want to try to go 4 for 4. And then the team race as well in a couple of these classes is going to be absolutely electric.
Yeah.
I'm buzzing. I'm hoping I could get to Macon this week. I don't know. We're going to see. It's conference week for the boys. And while I'm not wrestling, I will still have responsibilities. I hope I get to go to Macon because I'd love to see it in person, but I'm buzzing, man. It's Macon. The road to Macon.
It is the road to Macon. All right. So just so everybody knows, this is an intro that will go at the beginning of every single one of the videos that we're dropping. But after we finish this intro, we will cut it and actually go to a specific talking in detail about one of the classifications as well as the girls and that sort of thing. So just if you're really only interested in 1A, or you're only interested in 7A or this or that, we'll get to those in just a second. Okay. But in terms of, Lucas, you said storylines to begin with, just broadly speaking, regardless of what classification, because they'll all be there, right? If you were to pick one or two things that kind of everybody might want to be paying attention to as they walk in, what are a couple of those things?
I'm going to hone in on the first-time guys that maybe they're freshmen or maybe they're sophomore, junior, that last year they didn't make it to the state meet. I want you to take it in when you step into Macon. It's going to be 6 to 8 mats running, lots of people, lots of noise, and every coach and their mother is going to tell you the same adage of, hey, that mat is the same size as the one in our wrestling room. It's the same size as the mat. Take it in. Enjoy the experience. There's not a lot of opportunities you have. I would give it a lot to go wrestle in Macon again. Not that I like the arena. I don't like the arena.
Right.
But for the atmosphere. So first thing I'd say is to the guys who are going there for the first time, take it in. And on the same token, to the guys there for the last time, take it in. Really understand what you won't have again and be appreciative of that. And to the fans, I'm going to say, appreciate the wrestling going on. I can understand as a coach or as a parent, you may be so honed in on your son or daughter, as you should be. But man, with some of these matches going on in some of these brackets, take some time to watch some good wrestling if you can. Like, take some time. If you're just sitting there waiting on your son to wrestle, don't just be on your phone scrolling through Facebook or Imager or Twitter or Tumblr. Watch some of the wrestling, enjoy it. It's once in a lifetime to go to make and to do it multiple occasions that I had the blessing to do. It was incredible. So that would be
Yeah.
my keys.
All right.
Enjoy it, love it.
So I would say, if you're not familiar, as far as another classification goes, the road to a state title for the teams in 7A is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to get to that when we get to 7A.
Yeah.
But I will tell you that if you want to be paying attention to what's going on in a team race, and all the team races are going to be great, but that team race is going to be special. And then the second thing that I wanted to say was kind of piggybacking off of what you said, in that you talked about the freshmen, the first timers and the last timers. The other part is that we always have somebody who comes in as a 6 out of a sectional who is not necessarily on anybody's radar, and they may not win it, but they make a run and they end up on the podium. And it's a very special feeling because they started out in a deep hole to get to that point. So
I got an even better story for you. My senior year at heavyweight, kid at a Cherokee, I think it was an alternate, gets in on a guy getting injured, and he makes a run to the state finals. And he eventually lost to
Fairchild?
Who?
Fairchild?
Yes, thank you. I was thinking Fairchild. Yeah, he loses to Fairchild, but he took 9th, and because this is when it was top 8 that went, ladies and gentlemen. This was 16-man brackets.
Right.
He took 9th at sectionals, 9th, and made a run to the state final. Like,
yeah. So the storylines are huge. I mean, that's what we're going to kind of talk about when we get into the brackets. But it's going to be fun. Yeah,
you're going to have some Cinderellas where the glass slipper is going to fit for some of them, and they're going to have a story when they're older of, hey, I was the 5 seed at the state tournament. I knocked off a 4, or I knocked off a 6 seed, then I knocked off a 1. I made the way back to the finals, and I was wrestling the guy who beat me at sectionals, and I got the comeback, and I win the state title. There are going to be stories that come from this weekend of that, and to those kids, it's going to be something they remember for the rest of their lives.
All right, so you ready to jump into one of these?
Yes, I am. Which one's it going to? Just like I did with the rank, which one's it going to be? I don't know. They could be watching 5 for all we know.
Right. So let's jump in.
Storytelling. It's wonderful storytelling.
All right. We are talking the girls, and let's go ahead. We're going to put the team race to the end. But First thing we're going to do is we're going to put a tip of the cap to Carrollton on their duels. Woo! They look great in winning the girls' dual state title, and we'll get to it. But they look like they might be a team in the future. Go ahead.
I'm going to say it again to the Carrollton faithful. I didn't seed the bracket. Okay, I wasn't the reason you were the 5 seed. Let me make that clear.
All right, So before we get to the teams and before we get to the brackets, there were a couple things. There were actually 2 things that I think you should know broadly before we get into it. And one is we have a couple state champs that didn't win their section. And one lost to another state champ up at 235. But that's neither here nor there. But just because you're a returning champ doesn't guarantee anything. That's one. And number two, we had no freshmen win a state title a year ago in the girls division. Not a single one. We have 6 that are sectional champs. So will one of those 6 find a way to change that? Because you know what? It seems like we have freshman state champs all over the place. Well, we didn't have any last year in the girls. So that's something to consider.
Which is fascinating. I didn't know that. I'm starting to think about it like in my head. I'm like, was that? Like I'm trying to say that you're wrong, but I really can't. Like I'm racking my brain. I can't find one.
I'm never wrong. I'm never wrong.
What are you, the gatekeeper from Matrix Revolutions?
You're pulling out references I'm not 100% sure I know, but
I could go to a reference that's more in your time period and call you Andy Griffith.
okay, Opie. All right.
I
All
point
right.
Jason. Point Jason. You got
All
that one.
right. So let's jump into it. And I want you to just give me the highlights for each of these brackets, and we'll talk just briefly about each one because there's a lot to cover. So we're not going to get into too much detail. We are going to certainly mispronounce people's names, number one. And we are also, number two, not going to say everybody's name. It's just one of those things. It's just not going to be possible. So we're going to hit the high points.
There's two specific girls. I'm saying your name wrong on purpose, and I'm going to do it again. Okay? They know who they are. We'll get there when we get there.
All right. So let's jump to 100 pounds, where our two section champs are Artemis Eaton of North Forsyth and Caitlin Brown of Dodge County. Eaton's a freshman. Brown's a returning placer. Tell me a little bit about 100 pounds.
A weight that I don't want to, not that I don't know too much about, but I get a lot of information. I will be very frank from Coach Epstein at Greenbrier. Shout out to Coach Epstein. His daughter's in this bracket as a 2 seed. I've put my eyes on Caitlin Brown once or twice. I've never put my eyes on Artemis Eaton. I've heard only good things about her, so I'm not 15-0 on the year. She knocked off is it Aniri Patel, excuse me, of Woodward Academy.
Who was third last year.
I would say third last year, 50-2 on the year, junior. So Eaton obviously has proved herself in this bracket, beating some good girls on her route to being for those who don't know, sectionals or state is not seeded, it is formatted. So she's gotten herself a bye. She has done well at this point in the year to give herself a bye. I will say the semifinal of Brown and Patel possibility does intrigue me a lot.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It's well, and the thing is that Eaton, she really took care of business in her section.
Yeah.
So I don't typically think of freshmen as being favorites, but she wrestled really, really well.
Yeah, no, I saw the results, obviously, and fair play to her. She took care of business. I haven't directly put my eyes on her yet.
Oh, I agree.
Now, let me make this clear. She might get a Team Fierce and Scrappy call up. Let me make that clear. She might get a Fierce and Scrappy call up because I've only heard good things about her. That's all I've heard is good things. I just haven't seen her with my own eyes, and I'd like to. So hopefully if I get down to Macon, I'll be sure to try to catch some of her matches.
Absolutely. All right. So we are going to are you going to pick winners, or are we not going to pick winners?
I feel like I'm going to get thrown under the table if I don't pick winners because people are like, oh, Lucas didn't want to pick winners this year.
Okay. All right. So who wins at 100 pounds?
God, I like Patel. I like Eaton. I like Epstein, obviously. But shout out to Lillian Roundtree. I think she's going to get herself to the podium. A little bit of an upset. I think she'll get to the podium. Give me Caitlin Brown Jr. She's a placer. She's been here before. 28-17 on the year. Had some ups and downs, but if you look at some of her losses, she's went back and avenged those with wins. Yeah, give me Caitlin Brown. Give me Caitlin Brown to win it all at 100 pounds.
I mean,
Dodge County got yourself a champ.
I mean, let's look at it this way. I mean, having been on the podium before is huge.
Yes, I think the state tournament is where that really matters. Being there before, understanding what it's like to wrestle in that arena. You're going to be cold. Like, you could get the best warm-up possible. Hear me and hear me good. You're going to be cold in Macon, and there's not much you can do about it.
All right. So let's jump to 105. And we have Liliana McKinley of Carrollton, who won Section A. And we have Ollie Kate Weiland, who won Section B with a 6-5 decision in the finals. It's one of those weights. McKinley, I think, is a returning state qualifier, but I don't know that there's a whole lot of people who have been in Macon before in the bracket. So this one could be open.
I think this is a rather wide open bracket. Let's also, I want to hone in. I know she lost to McKinley at sections. I'm just gonna call her Rios because I'm not gonna butcher that first name because I'm not doing it.
Araceli?
Sure, Araceli. I'm gonna say it because you said it, and if it's wrong, then I get to blame you. I
I'll
like
take it.
Araceli Rios. I've seen her wrestle once or twice, and she's a freshman, 13-2 on the year. May Shanahan at a Wheeler, 19-4 on the year. And then you got a girl in here like Courtney Hawkins of Chestatee. She's a 3, but 25-4 on the year. You can't overlook her. And then I don't know what school this is, but Celeste Welch, she's 31-3 on the year as a 4 or 5, and she catches Josephine Royer at a GICO. That is a matchup of Peachtree Ridge and Gilmer. And Royer at a Gilmer's 31-6 on the year. So I think this weight is really, really wide open.
All right. So now that you've listed pretty much everybody in the bracket, can you tell me who's going to win?
Give me McKinley.
She looked good last weekend. Had a major decision over Rio, 17-6 in the finals. So
yeah, and she's one of the, by the way, shout out to the entire Carrollton County or Carrollton crew who decided to DM me on Instagram after your duel win. Shout out to y'all. That was
as they should.
Yeah. No, I'm not mad at it. Like, fair play to them. Like, I deserved it. Like, I'm not mad at it. But yeah, I'm taking her.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
Let's jump to 110, where our 2 section champs are Delilah Bentis from, I think it's Lee County, right? And Cassidy Gibson.
Yep, Lee County.
Is that right?
Yep, Lee County. Yep.
Okay. And Cassidy Gibson. So you got those 2 as your top 2 and your section champs. I don't know. I mean, again, it feels like a weight. I mean, Gibson came from a second in the area or the region, the first round or first weekend.
Yeah, I got you.
To get a fall, to get a 12-1 major, and then to get a fall in the finals. I mean, pretty awesome. But she did come in second in her section.
Give me 1 minute.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Ma, I'm filming with Jason right now. You're on the video. Say hi to the people at home. Yeah. I'll call you when I'm done. Love you, Mama. Okay, is everything okay? Okay, don't answer me. Love you, Ma. Anyways, yes, I agree.
All right, but you got Benton Cius. I don't even know how to say it. Somebody will have to correct me. We're talking about a fall in 30 seconds, a fall at 254, a fall at 226, and a 16-0 tech fall in the freaking finals.
You want to talk about dominance?
I mean, yeah. Honestly.
Of business. And I have put my eyes on her a couple of times watching her wrestle, and I will very much say impressive. Very impressive to me.
I agree. So is she your pick as your favorite? Or is she your pick? I'm sorry, not as your favorite. Yeah. Is she your pick?
Yep.
Yes. All right.
I had to think about it, but yeah, I'm gonna go with her. I also really like and she's a 2. I really like D'Aronzeno out of North Paulding. I think that's how you say that name. I do. I think she has a lot of upside, and she's real young. So, the Wolf Pack do good things. So I think over time we'll see her grow the right way. But right now, give me Benton Cias. I think that she's a killer, and she's probably going to get herself a Fierce and Scrappy call up for sure.
Benton Cias. I think that's how you say it. That's good.
Sounds right.
It sounds right. Yeah.
Correct. Which means we're wrong.
Well, what means you're wrong?
You said it first.
All right, 115. To me, a really, really good bracket, headlined by section champs Caitlin Thomas and Vera Spencer. Man, Vera Spencer looked good last week. You've also got Evie Hill in there. You got Brooke French in there. I mean, we are talking a lot of names, right?
Yep.
So what sticks out to you?
The what sticks out to me is the ages of some of these girls. You got Caitlin Thomas up top as a senior, but then let's look down the way. Vera Spencer, the other sectional champ, sophomore. Avery Hill is a freshman. You as well, a little bit higher up in the bracket, you got another two freshmen in Roan and Bolton. You got a lot of youth in this bracket, and it's me, Eliana Williams as well. I believe Meadow Creek. Yep, Meadow Creek. She's a sophomore on the year. I think this bracket is decently wide open. I don't think, not to say that there isn't a favorite. I'm not hedging my bets. I'm gonna make this clear. I'm gonna go with Vera Spencer of North Oconee.
Mm-hmm. Well, I will. So I agree. So I don't make predictions, but she looked so good last weekend, and I watched
really
it Fargo. I will say Lindsey Wilson of South Paulding is a returning placer who she could get in the quarters. So that's somebody to keep an eye on.
I was about to say, I don't know if I want to call her my dark horse, because I don't know if you would call someone a dark horse being a returning state placer. But if I could name a dark horse, that maybe not a dark horse, maybe a silver horse, a gray horse, if you will, because she's not really a dark horse. Like, you know who Lindsey Wilson is as a senior returning placer, 17-2 on the year. I think Lindsey Wilson will make a run to the podium, and honestly, I'm interested in a matchup between her and Vera Spencer. I don't know if they've wrestled before, and if I am, someone tell me I'm an idiot, and I'll just shut up. But
did they wrestle? I don't think they wrestled last week. Because Vera beat French in the semis and then Armour in the finals. So no.
But either way, let's also keep in mind we are 4 weights through, and I have 4 separate teams winning titles.
Hey, all right, okay. So let's go to the next weight, and it's 120 pounds. And to me, the two titleists the two section champs kind of stand out. I don't know if you agree or disagree, or if you think somebody who's not a section champ might get their way through. But Isabella Moore from Carrollton is one of the section champs. Alana Garner, I think it's River Ridge, right?
I do believe so, yes.
Yeah, is the other section champ. To me, they just look really, really good. Although I will say, Bella Moore did only beat McDaniel. Is that right?
Yep, 7-6. She
7-6. Yeah. So, that's something to keep an eye on.
It is, but I'm going with Isabella Moore.
Okay.
I like her. I like her style. I also think McDaniel is I think McDaniel and Garner and the Sems could be a really, really fun match. I think that match has got a lot of potential to be a barn burner. But I think honestly, another girl I think that needs to be mentioned here, who I don't want to leave out, is Isabel Welsh. She's 21-7 on the year out of North Cobb, has some good wins. If she were to beat Evie Brown, she's gonna catch more, and that's not a great draw. But I think that she could make a deep run on the backside if she has to. So don't be surprised if you see her on the podium at the end of the weekend. But as it stands, I'm gonna pick Isabella Moore. She's undefeated on the year.
I'm glad you brought that up, because while you're predicting who's going to win, we have to remember that somebody draws somebody in the quarters or whatever, and then makes a run on the backside and takes third or fourth. That's a huge accomplishment. I mean, that is something that
agreed.
We're paying a lot of attention to, especially for those younger wrestlers who maybe don't come into that first match as good to go, and then find their groove, and are able to kind of get their way through.
And that happens a lot more than people realize, that maybe a youngster's never been to Macon, wrestles their first match, doesn't really go the way they want, and but they settle in that first match, and they kind of recognize how they need to wrestle.
Right.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it happens every year. You get a kid who maybe they're a freshman or sophomore, they've never been to the state meet, they lose their first one, and then after that first loss, they kind of knock the cobwebs off, and they get to rolling on the backside. It happens every year, so don't be surprised there when it happens.
All right, so let's jump up to 125 pounds, and Jasmine Jenkins Bay from Columbus is a returning state placer. She is 30-1 on the year. I watched her one loss. It was in the knockout finals. To me, she looks like she is the definite favorite. But let's throw out a couple things. Number one, Sienna Malik down at the bottom, the other section champ, is a returning state qualifier. And who's
And
with
can
her on?
bang.
Well,
And can bang.
right. And Marigana Lau from, is that Glen Academy?
Yep.
She only lost to Jasmine Jenkins Bay in sudden victory in overtime last weekend.
Yep. 8-6 in sudden victory.
So
and another girl that I got one other girl. I got one other one I'm going to bring into the equation here that I think I got two. I got one actually I think deserves a mention. I'm going to say, I believe her name is Zakiria Kendrick at a Wheeler. She's 30-1 on the year. And if you look at some of her wins, they're not bad wins. She has some really solid wins on the year. So while I don't think she's going to win it, and in fact, I have Jasmine Jenkins Bay as my favorite, mainly because she's been to the knockout finals. She's been at the state meet. You get that experience of wrestling these high-level girls in these high-level situations. But I don't be surprised if listen, like you said, Lau took her to overtime. Like, if Lau gets back to if Lau's able to beat Malik, and Malik in her own right is a great wrestler, if she beats Malik, gets back to the finals, she's going to be looking to go get that win back. And the thing is, losing matches in overtime, like, those are really flippable, especially if you're in the right kind of environment, which maybe she is in like, hey, we going to have some fun at 125 pounds is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, so jump into 130. Tessa Lepardo, Lakeside Evans. I watched her compete up at Holy Angels this past year. Looked super good. I think that's where she got her one loss as well.
I would imagine.
Was out of state. The section champ on the bottom is Mariana Perez of Denmark. But, there's other names throughout this group, Plemons and Patton and Kaufman. I mean, there's a few names throughout here that could pose some challenges for the two section champs.
Agreed. I don't think this is a open and shut case by any means. I don't think this is really I have half a mind to actually pick a non-section champion here.
And that would be crazy. And the reason I'm going to tell everybody that's crazy is because if you look at the history, okay, last year it was a bunch of like 7 kind of areas where the champ came from. But if you look at especially the guys' side, where we've had section champs previously, like 13 out of 14 weight classes are won by section champs. So, I mean, the vast majority of them, but it does happen. And who might that be?
I really like Abby Clemens out of Chestatee. She's a sophomore, 30-7 on the year. I really like her. I think she has huge upside, and I think she's one of those girls that we might be looking at in a year or two as, oh, she's carrying the flag. Like, I think she's one of those that I think she's got huge potential. She catches Tessa in the sems, though, which I don't necessarily like.
All right.
I don't want to disrespect Perez here, or Patton for that matter, or someone like a Daniela Pelletecci, I want to say. 34-21 on the year in women's. She's wrestled 55 matches. That is, I want to say it's nearly the most of any girl in the state of recorded matches on their track. And that matters to me, especially as a freshman. That matters because there is no such thing as lack of experience for her, especially at Woodward Academy. You know the coaching she's getting.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, and I think that you kind of put that asterisk out there, and I thought that was really important. And that is, of the matches we have recorded. So because some record a ton, others might have just had just as many, but we don't see it on track.
Yeah, exactly. So make that clear. Like, someone's gonna have 60 matches and be like, "What the hell?" I'm like, I didn't know. I'm sorry. Like,
right. You can only go about what we see, right?
Exactly. Well, see, when I try to tell people that, I get yelled at. I'm like, I'm just telling you what I have.
All right. So you give me a 130 champ or no?
Yes, I am. You know what? Give me Clemens. Give me Abby Clemens out of Chestatee. I'll go for it. You know what?
All right.
Sean, come on.
All right. So let's jump to 135. And you talked about the young guns. Well, we have one in Lumpkin County's Nora Garbuzovas. Is that how I say it?
Garbuzovas, yes.
Okay. And then we have a defending champ at the bottom, and May Prado of Lassiter. Look, I mean, you got Riley Howe in there. You've got a ton of
This is a
girls in there.
solid weight.
This is a good
really,
weight
really
class,
good weight.
but I don't know that anybody is close to the top 2.
No, and with all respect to Nora, who I love, who's an awesome girl, as is her sister. I met them at my 706 camp, and immediately I could see a lot of talent in both them. I'm gonna say it, it's Prado. Like, you're gonna do to make me pick against Maya Prado, you're gonna have to do a lot. And I'm still doing it. Yeah. I'm
okay.
I think Nora and Catherine Parra and Riley, this is a really, really good weight.
It is.
But it's Maya Prado. Like, she's one of the girls carrying the flag for the state of Georgia as we speak. I'm picking her. I'm picking her until, look, if Nora goes out and beats her at state, then I have a reason to pick against her. But until someone gives me that reason to pick against her in the state of Georgia, I got to pick her. I got
it.
Right. And
140. Let's go with the other Garbuzovas.
Yes.
Okay. Greta, who is 45-0. Pretty damn impressive. You got Caroline Buffington at the bottom, who's a senior from Kell, who's the other section champ. For me, the most impressive win that Greta had this year was in that section finals when she beat Herrick from Chattooga.
1-0 in just a gritty. It was gritty. Just bit down on her mouthpiece that I don't even know if she wears one, and just put her head down and said, I'm going to get to work. And I will say, I don't like that it's a 1-0 win. I don't, because I feel like it. Don't be surprised, ladies and gentlemen, if Harak, just off of sheer oh hell no energy, gets back to the finals, beats Buffington, even though just out of pure I want revenge, which I like the idea of a Buffington Harak semifinal. I like that matchup. I really do. I think that'll be some fun.
But that's not a foregone conclusion, because if you look there in that potential quarterfinal match, Ariana Bacon, she only lost to Harak 3-2 on tiebreakers.
I did not even see Bacon on that side of the bracket. I thought Bacon was on the top side.
How tough is that?
That's a fall. Oh my, that side of the bracket. Oh, we got some fireworks on that side of the bracket. And let's also keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, you have Ariel Mycon, I believe is how you would say that, of Creek. Is that Creek?
I think that's Creekview.
She got,
just so everybody knows, we're looking at the abbreviations and we're kind of guessing sometimes.
Yeah. She's 14-4 on the year as a freshman. She got stuck at the end of the match by Buffington, but before that, the match was, I think, 4-0 in Buffington's favor. Someone tell me if I'm wrong on that. I think it was like 4-0. That's not a insurmountable task, 4-0 to change. Right. So that's one I want to keep my eyes on, ladies and gentlemen.
So give me a champ.
Give me big Garbuzovas. I think Greta is on her way to being one of the best girls in the state of Georgia as a freshman. I think she's on the right path. She has the right training, her and her sister, as well as some of the other girls that they train with. They both are already on Team Fierce and Scrappy.
So you're telling me that we didn't have a freshman champ last year, and that will change this year?
Yes, I think Greta gets it done. I think she's that good. And give me Harak to get back to the finals. I want to see a rematch. I want to see Harak Garbuzovas too. Give me the rematch. I want to see it.
So speaking of freshmen, as we jump to 145, Madison Cooley of Carrollton, she won her sectional. She is unbeaten. And then again, we've got that freshman upperclassman kind of thing going on with Raven Cook from Jackson County down there at the bottom. Not to slight anybody in the middle, right? But those two have looked super, super good. I think Cook pinned her way to her sectional final or sectional championship. I think Cooley had a 24-second pin, a 49-second pin, a 37-second pin, and a 33-second pin.
Yes.
Dang.
I think they're both kind of on a collision course to the state finals. And I do want to take a mention, shout out, tip the cap to little Sequoia getting herself a bye in the first round. Shout out to her.
Right.
But with all due respect to everybody else in the bracket, I think it's Cooley and Cook on a collision course, like I said. And I think Raven Cook is that girl. I think she's her. I'm
Well,
gonna take Raven.
And she's been in making a
Yeah, and
a ton of times.
I'm not saying she's gonna run through Cooley. I'm not saying that, but she's been there. She knows what it's like. She's a senior. I'm gonna go with her in this one. I think that she's my favorite going in, and I'm picking her to win this. All
right, so jump into 55. We got Phillips of Grovetown, Godinez from Chestatee. Zoe Paris there is from Cherokee is a 2. A good weight class. Seeing a lot of Grovetown girls in the mix here.
Oh yeah. Oh no. Grovetown. I don't know how many. We'll talk more about the team race at the end. We will.
Right.
Hey guys. Don't take your eyes off Grovetown. Like if they get a couple things to go their way, like in coming years, obviously, because they only got 2 girls this year, right? But I know that they have more than 2 girls on their roster. They just didn't have all of them get through to sectional, to the state meet.
Right.
Both of them are coming back that made it, as well as a good amount of their girl. Just keep your eyes on Grovetown. That's all I'm gonna say. In it as time goes on.
All right. So I'm gonna look real quick at. I think that Ashley Godinez. I'm not sure I'm saying it right. She took 3rd last year. So
I knew she's a placer. I just forgot where she placed.
Yeah, and she's pretty tough. She beat Paris in the finals of their section. So now who wins it?
I real quick want to give a shout out to Ayanna Fletcher of Northside Columbus, who I think is a stud.
Okay.
As well in the bracket, you got a girl out of East Forsyth, Isabel Carrington. She has some good wins on the year, and she's 17-2. She's a 3 out of that first section. I'm going with Ashley Godinez, senior returning placer. I think it's her year. I think she's gonna get the job done. But give me Godinez. I think it's her year. I think she gets the job done.
All right. So let's jump to 170, where again we have another freshman champ and Tara Burse. I think that's Southwest Whitfield. Down at the bottom, you've got another section champ is Litzy Soto of Johnson. But man, the middle of this bracket is crazy.
Who's there? I don't know. I look at section champs and runners up around here. I don't know who we're talking about. I'm screwing with her. I make that clear. I'm screwing with her because she will power bomb me.
So I will say. So we're talking about Genevieve Vaughn, who is a returning state champ, who took 3rd. But hang on, before we get to that, and we talk about on to degree. I mean, we're talking like Mia Bernanke.
I was about to say Mia Bernanke's in this.
Bernanke,
really, really good.
She was a state runner-up last year, right?
Kristen Briggs, who's a sophomore, 16-5 out of South Cobb. Don't get it twisted. She can bang. Like this a really shout out also junior. She drew Bernanke in there. But Abby Gahn at a first-year program, Seckinger. Shout out to the Jaguars getting her into the bracket. Sanaya Joseph as well out of, I believe, is that New Manchester? Yep, New Manchester, yeah, that's right. 33-7 on the year. I'm going to say it. 170 is the best weight. I'm going to say it. When you look at Burse, Bernanke, On, Briggs, Joseph, Soto, who's undefeated on the year, I think this is the best weight of the tournament. That's no disrespect to any other weight classes. It's so deep. But I spoke to this girl after sectionals. I'm picking Genevieve Ann, and I had a long talk with her about something, and I feel like this loss was good for her. I feel like it was good for her.
Okay.
Kind of a the way she explained to me what happened at sectional, she was being real sloppy, and Soto, who is good, punished her, rightfully so, punished her for being sloppy. So, and Soto's a killer. Don't get this twisted. Like Soto's the type of girl when you say her name 3 times in the mirror, she's gonna come out of the mirror and murder you. So, like, don't get that twisted. Yeah, no, she's like the Candyman, for God's sakes. Like, she can bang. So I'm not saying this disrespectfully, but give me Genevieve Ann until otherwise proven.
All right. And he's doing that on purpose, but we'll move on to 190. And at 190, another really good weight class. We got Taylor Scheiser from Gilmer County, Jaden Lee from Chestatee. But, again, this is another weight that there's a lot of girls in the middle there who all have some accomplishments, all can bang.
Witherspoon, Harper,
right? Phoebe Melvin.
I was about to get to Melvin. I didn't even like.
Yeah. So tell me, so who emerges at 190 and why?
This is a weight where I don't actually, not that I don't know a lot, but I really like Taylor Sizer, man. I really do. I think she's really good. She is one of the highest scorers for me out of Gilmer when it comes to my matrix. Give me Taylor Sizer. Give me Gilmer to have a champ. I'm gonna go Gilmer. I'm gonna go Shizer.
Well, I mean, and to be fair, way, go ahead.
Let me make some. You want a dark horse? Nobody take your eyes off Aiden Lowell. Do not do it. She is 28-1 on the year with good wins out of Harris County. Keep your eye on her. That's all I'm gonna say. That's one where you better keep at least one eye. You got one eye looking at Shizer. You better keep that other eye split across your head looking the other way.
Well, and I think that Shizer beat Lowell, I mean, and in the semi. So that was her loss. And, and she took third out of that section. So There you go. All right. Moving up to 235. Look, I don't know how anybody's going to pick against Lily Chavis of Jackson County. She knocked off the defending state champ, Isabella Redlinger. But, I mean, Kayla McKenzie looks good, who's also the section champ. This is a good weight. I just don't.
And hey, but well, here's why she didn't beat Redlinger. That's the thing you got to keep in mind. She didn't beat Redlinger.
She didn't? Is that what you said?
Nope. Redlinger lost in the sems to Gonzalez Galvin in tiebreakers, and then Chavis beat Gonzalez Galvez 3-1.
She beat her the week before.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I thought you said it. Okay, never mind. I'm an idiot. Never mind, ladies and gentlemen.
You're not.
I'm gonna shut me up.
No.
Shut all the way up.
You're not, because I will say this: Chavis, she beat her the weekend before, which put them in the sectional bracket where they might run across one another. But then, Stephanie Gonzalez Galvin
that top side
ended
of the
up
bracket is so nasty. That top side of the bracket is so nasty. SGG, Redlinger, Edwards, and McKenzie. Dear God, that's a rough. That's a rough quarter.
Well, and we get. I mean, you just mentioned it. Gonzalez Galvin beat Redlinger on tiebreakers. That's your potential quarter.
Yeah, and there's a part of me that wants to be Lucas De Silva and pick Redlinger, because Redlinger's so good, and there's a part of me that's like, man, do I do it? But I'm not going to. I'm gonna pick Lily Chavis at Jackson County.
She's won tough matches, and she's a returning state champ.
This is what's going to happen. I'm going to pick Chavis. Okay, I'm picking Chavis. We're going to come back in a week, and Redlinger's going to have won this bracket. And I'm probably going to get an Instagram DM. This is one of those where I feel like I'm going to get a DM about it, because I'm not going to pick her. But also SGG, she's tough at a Norcross, man. And we're all forgetting that Kayla McKenzie sitting on the top side of the bracket. Like, hey, yo. What are we talking about here? And she's a killer. And, not as many matches on the year, but hey, don't forget about Ruby Barton out of Rome, who got second in her section and won some good matches. Stuck Morris to get to the finals.
Right. Kind of came out of nowhere to make the finals.
Like, she kind of got hot late in the year at a good area and a good sectional. I'm going to pick Chavis, but boy, it's close. Boy, it's close.
All right, so let's jump to the teams and wrap this up. We've got Carrollton comes in with 7 qualifiers, same as Greenbrier. Difference between those two teams, Carrollton has 4 champs. Greenbrier doesn't have a single one. Chestatee has 6 qualifiers. Woodward Academy has 6. Jordan has 6 as well. But Chestatee, yes, that's how you say it. But Chestatee is only one with a section.
Well, you said what?
Section champ.
No. I'm just letting you get off. That is not how you say Jordan, spelled Jordan. Jordan. I'm not doing it. I'm not playing your games. No. Continue.
All right. Gilmer County has 5 with a single champ. And then, we've got Osborne and Lumpkin County. We've got a few other teams. But really, let's be honest, right? If you don't have 3 or more qualifiers, you're just starting in a hole. So there's no way that you're going to probably catch Carrollton, Greenbrier, Chestatee, Woodward Academy, any of those who have double the number of qualifiers, right?
Agreed.
All right. So with 4 champs, and we've already talked about champs make up a huge number of the eventual champions. Is Carrollton the favorites?
Yeah,
they just won the tough. Like, that sectional is tough.
When I'm counting down the way I have it, my mind, and I'm not looking at my matrix for this. This is me just kind of looking. Carrollton, Chestatee, Greenbrier, Lumpkin, and Woodward, kind of 4 or 5 with Gilmer and Jordan kind of mixed in. Like, the problem is, Jordan has girls. I don't know how many of them are going to get to the podium. And that's what happened with Greenbrier. Greenbrier caught some rough draws. So I'm sitting here, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go with what I have. Carrollton, Chestatee, Greenbrier, Lumpkin, Woodward. Hold me to it.
All right.
I think if both Garbuzovas make the finals, not a lot of teams have 2 finalists. And then, you got schools like Chestatee and Carrollton that I have with 3 or 4 finalists each.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, thank you for taking time to talk about the girls. I thought we did a pretty good job breaking it down.
Yeah.
Probably talked too long, but that's okay. And I would encourage everyone to check back in as we do the same thing in 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A, 6A, 7A. Yes, that many classifications.
Thank you, GHSA.
Lucas, I appreciate it, man. You take care, and hopefully we'll see you in Macon, man.
Hopefully, I'd love to.
All right.